Welcome to BibleLink. It's great to see you. And BibleLink exists to help link the Bible to real life, your life. And today we're in chapter 18 of Genesis. Abraham gives us a lesson in hospitality today. 3 traveling men show up on Abraham's doorstep, well, at his tent step. And we see that one of them is God in human form. The other 2 we will learn are angels. And Abraham runs out to meet them, and he bows down to the ground to honor them and invites them for a meal, and then kills the fattened calf. He throws a party, which was probably the finest food available at the time. And Abraham goes all out to serve these unexpected guests, and then God tells Abraham that in a year Sarah will have a son. And like Abraham in the previous chapter, Sarah kind of laughs in disbelief. No wonder their son is named Isaac, which means he laughs. His name is a reminder that God has had the last laugh, even in the face of our doubts. Now, Abraham goes above and beyond in his hospitality. He's very gracious, and he puts the best of what he has before his guests. What about us? Are we able to be gracious to our guests? Do we even regularly have guests over to our house? Abraham and Sarah's hospitality is one of the ways they live into the promise God made with them back in chapter 12, that all peoples of the earth will be blessed through them. Imagine that. Hospitality is a blessing. A lot of beautiful things can happen when we're gathered around people's kitchen tables. Stories get swapped, jokes are told, and connections are made. It's a sacred space where we are all nourished and people are brought together. Is there a family or a person that we could invite over in our neighborhood that we could show hospitality to? One lesson we can learn from this chapter is that God often brings a blessing when we gather around a table, when we show hospitality. The conversation kind of shifts after the meal when God decides to include Abraham into the conversation he was having with his companions, the angels. And he involves Abraham in a decision relating to justice for the city of Sodom. He says that an outcry has reached him about Sodom and that their sin is very great, so he's going to go investigate. Abraham starts asking if God would wipe away an entire city if there was a critical mass of righteous people. And he starts playing this numbers game with God. He says, will you destroy it if there are 50 righteous? God says, no. He says, okay, how about 45 or 30 or 20 or 10? He keeps going down with it. And God says he wouldn't destroy it if he found these numbers of righteous people. Now, one way of interpreting this story is that a critical mass of righteous people can help save wicked families, communities, states, and even nations. But if there isn't a critical mass, even a couple of holy people can't turn the tide of judgment. These aren't exact numbers per se, but because there are probably more than 10 righteous people in some of the nations that God later brings judgment upon. But this is an example that sometimes the innocent suffer the punishment of a multitude of wicked people, and sometimes bad people get spared because of the actions of a group of righteous people. Sometimes individual justice doesn't always get played out in life. We get caught up in larger movements of good and evil, and the blessings or curses that fall on a group of people can come down on to us regardless of our personal morality. We do have the promise that Jesus will bring ultimate justice in the end, however, when he judges the world. We may not experience perfect individual justice in this life, but Jesus will bring it in the end. What do you think of justice not always working out nice, neat for every person in this life? How have you seen this play out? What else did you notice? Thanks for engaging in BibleLink today. Join the conversation on Facebook. Ask questions, share your observations, and invite someone to join us.